But what it showed, the next scene I saw, he was in the street beside a vehicle, and he was kneeling on his neck. What I'm wondering is what happened between the bench and the street. Even if he possibly tried to escape, the man was no danger to anyone. His hands were handcuffed behind his back. They could have kneeled on his back. I think at the very least, if he'd done it out of anger or something, he ought to be charged with manslaughter at least. But it's puzzling me that what could have happened between the bench and the street to make an officer do something like that. I don't know. What they did was horrible. I mean, what the officer did was horrible. He was no danger. So that's been puzzling me.
No, you're 100% correct. I have no idea, and I'm really interested in seeing what they can learn. There's no question this is going to be pretty seriously investigated. Let's check out Steve, who is up next. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for having me on. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
I'd like to comment on the George Floyd incident. You know, this has been going on for a long, long time. Normally, the cops just say, well, I thought I saw a gun, and they shoot him. My mind goes back to the February the 4th, I believe it was, of 1999. A young black man was shot at 41 times and hit 19 times. And they said, I thought I saw a gun. You know, it's when is people going to realize, you know, and evidently that's all a lot of police have to say is, and I respect the police, don't get me wrong, but it's just like all they have to say is, I thought I saw a gun, and they're free. Whether they're pulling a billfold out of their pocket to give the officers or whatever it may be. That's always their defense, seems like, I thought I saw a gun. It should be, or they should be held to the same accountability that we are if we shot somebody because we thought we saw them pulling a gun. It's preposterous.
Well, Steve, this has been going on a long time, and you know, there are. I mean, I had a friend growing up who primarily represented policemen. He was, I think, the counsel for the police union, and you know, there are some absolutely dangerous policemen on the force. I think they're in the minority, and but you know, these kind of situations always you know, bring race into it, and one of our next guests is going to deal with that because you know, it's hard for some people to. I mean, I look at the police the same way you do. I mean, if somebody stops me, I'm going to show respect, but I'm not sure that I'm concerned. I'm not sure I'm in fear for my life, though, and I have a lot of friends who tell me they are. Yeah.
Exactly, and rightfully so. You know, there's so many young black men killed by officers simply because they say they thought they was pulling a gun or whatever it may be. You know, on the news just the
well,
other
that's
day,
the oldest line in the world, and you know, you said it. Yeah, I mean, every good lawyer in America is going to figure out a way to not directly, but let their clients know that, you know, I mean, I've followed not a million, but quite a few police shootings over the years, and I mean, there was one where I live a couple of years ago that became national news, and there was rioting, and it was a terrible situation for 3 or 4 nights, and you know, the video showed there was no gun, but the decedent was. You know, had some severe mental disabilities, so he was not reacting to the command, and he reached for something. And I mean, I'm not comparing that to this situation. I'm just making a point.
Right.
This situation is pretty hard. This one's pretty hard to swallow based on what we know. But you know, what do we know right now?
Yeah, and you know, these that make national news are the only ones that we see and hear about. No, there's no
you're right.
testimony more hundreds of, killed every year, that same situation that we hear nothing about, that someone didn't catch on video.
No, you're right.
Nothing about it. It's I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and most police cars now, we got some serious issues on both sides. Hey, thanks for the call. Cat Daddy is up next. What do you say, Cat Daddy?
I think it was a terrible thing that happened up in Minnesota. Condolences goes out to the family. Of course, they got to look over everything. We can't judge it at one time. There's probably going to be some evidence, this, that, and the other. But I hope justice will be done. But my point is, I want to make this point. It's a terrible thing that happened. The man lost his life. But 5 other people were shot because both blacks and whites went out into the street rioting, and because this man was killed, you had stole yourself a 50-inch plasma screen television? That's just as wrong. And I make one more point. We had a rash of policemen that was killed in this country a few years ago, and I never saw nobody go out and burn down the neighborhood over them. I just think that's a tragedy. Why people want to burn down their own neighborhood, the neighbor's property, because they disagree with what's wrong. Yes, it's a tragedy. Yes, it's wrong. But burn down your own neighborhood, that's stupidity at the highest point. I hope I made my point clear.
You did. You did, Cat Daddy. Hey, thank you for the call.
Yes,
we are here heading to the top of the hour. Thank you. Great. Speaking of Bakari Sellers, he grew up in South Carolina. His father, Cleveland Sellers, a legendary civil rights leader. He will join us at the top of the next hour to talk about this situation. He's also a South Carolina football fan.
As a pro, saving time and money is your first priority. Lowe's can help you save both. Shop on Lowe'sForPros.com and get free standard shipping on qualifying orders of $45 or more. You'll find the brands you trust and can order on the job site or in the truck from any device. Need something in a hurry? Make a quick trip to Lowe's. We're open at 6 a.m. and offer curbside pickup, so you can get what you need and get on your way. Lowe's, here to help you save time and money. Applies to eligible items only. Contiguous U.S. only. Restrictions apply. See Lowe'sForPros.com for details.
Though we're apart these days, we're sharing more. So, at Geico, we'd like to say thanks. Thanks for sharing your savage dance moves. Thanks for sharing your DIY haircut fails. Thanks for sharing your inner lip sync star. Now, it's our turn to share with the Geico Give Back, a 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies for current and new customers. Because we're committed for the long haul, the 15% credit lasts your full policy term. Visit geico.com/giveback for more info and eligibility.
For ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines, I'm JP. Rain washed out the Cup Series race Wednesday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. A slight break for NASCAR teams taxed by a grueling return to racing. The race was rescheduled for Thursday at 6 o'clock, which in turn forced NASCAR to move the Xfinity Series race scheduled for Saturday at Bristol Motor Speedway. The turnaround time is too difficult for broadcast partner Fox Sports to leave North Carolina and quickly rebuild its setup in Tennessee under social distancing guidelines. The Xfinity Series race will instead be on Monday night, a day after the Cup Series. NASCAR's first wave of races in its comeback amid the coronavirus pandemic totaled 7 national events over 11 days. The second consecutive Wednesday night race would have been the fourth for the Elite Cup Series since May 17. That span included Sunday night's Coca-Cola 600, which went over 600 miles in overtime and was the longest event in NASCAR history. The Major League Baseball Players Association expects to counter MLB's economic proposal by the end of the week with a plan that includes more than 100 games and a guarantee of full prorated salaries for the 2020 season. The disagreement over economics has ratcheted up in recent days after the league's first proposal Tuesday rankled players. On multiple phone calls Wednesday, players essentially pledged to ignore the league's proposal and instead offer one of their own. Washington Nationals ace Max Scherzer, one of 8 players on MLBPA's powerful executive subcommittee, tweeted Wednesday that the significant pay cuts in the league's proposal would not be accepted and the union would remain committed to the players receiving their full prorated salaries. And the Premier League is set to resume on June 17th after clubs gave Project Restart the green light at a shareholders meeting on Thursday. Sources have told ESPN that Manchester City versus Arsenal and Aston Villa at home to Sheffield United will be the first fixtures taking all teams to 29 matches played. The remaining 90 games will then continue from the following weekend with a match likely to be moved for television on Friday, June 17th. For your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines, I'm JP. Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
What's up, Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, no sports to talk about. March Madness canceled, every major sport, so maybe you get to spend some more time around your family. Oh, what? Not supposed to touch anybody? Well, just go home and watch Price is Right. But if you are older, you have a better chance of getting it. Right, Mike Gundy? Oh, 40? You should be all right. And he won't be broadcasting sports, but one guy that feels the same way we all do with no sports, probably Joe Buck.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness.
Sports Drive 5 to 7 with no sports.
Well, I finally improved my credit score.
What? The band is about to be discovered. Rock gods don't need to worry about credit scores. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, make ridiculous on-tour requests, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
I'm not banking my retirement on a band that's never left your garage.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Florida Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
We welcome you back. Great to have you here. And I mentioned Bakari Sellers will be joining us in just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to come back to that in just a second. We're going to play something for you right before we head to the break that we want you to see before Bakari comes on. Skip is up next in Mississippi. Hey, Skip.
Hey, Mr. Feinbaum. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Great to have you on.
I haven't called before, so this is the first one. So I guess according to Elmo, I'm going to be a bad caller because I'm going to ask a couple questions.
Well, you do that. That's what most callers do.
Real quick, is most of the schools, particularly SEC, and I guess most of the others, have already published schedules for the coming year. But based on how the decisions go over the next few weeks, I guess, on how the schedule or how the season's going to be played, is everybody just going to okay, we're going to amend that, and here's the new schedule? Or, is there a plan for, changing what they've already published? That's question one.
Yes, Skip, here is where we are right now. The schedules are out. They've been out for a number of months. I am told I am told that they are playing with multiple schedules right now. There are contingency plans. There's somebody in charge of that. So yes, I think there's every imaginable schedule that will be ready. But right now, nobody's going to say anything until we get closer.
Okay, thank you. The next thing was, and this is sort of a Mississippi-oriented question. With the new coach at State and the new coach at Ole Miss, and I'm an Ole Miss fan, but this is just a general question. Is it just me, or does it seem like these two coaches in how they do things are diametrically opposed? And I guess I'm looking for your opinion on how much you're looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Well, I know both of them. I like both of them a lot. I think it's going to be fantastic to watch. The Egg Bowl is must-see TV this year. But yeah, they're completely different. Mike Leach is a reverent, brilliant offensive tactician. Lane Kiffin, brilliant offensive tactician. They're just brilliant and irreverent in many, many different ways. And I think that's what's going to be so exciting. Let me pause there because I want to make sure we get this in before we run out of time here. But I mentioned Bakari Sellers. Some of you may know him. He's been a lawyer, grew up in South Carolina, been a lawyer in Columbia, South Carolina for a long time, very close to the South Carolina program. He's currently, he's got a brand new book out. He's also a CNN political analyst. But he was on CNN New Day this morning talking about the George Floyd situation.
It's just so much pain. You get so tired. We have black children. I have a 15-year-old daughter. I mean, what do I tell her? I'm raising a son. I have no idea what to tell him. It's hard being black in this country when your life is not valued. And people are worried about the protesters and the looters. And it's just people who are frustrated, who for far too long have not had their voices heard.
Some very dramatic commentary. This is Mark Jones from ESPN. For those who have not seen this, I'll read it to you folks on radio. To my white brothers and sisters in the sports media, you may or may not be affected by the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police, but know that every single black athlete you write about, interview, or talk about sees themselves being murdered when they watch that heinous act. Wow. We are going to get into that in the next segment. We hope you'll stick around with us. We'll also entertain your phone calls at 855-242-7285. A reminder, the governor of Tennessee tomorrow will join us to talk about his state reopening. We're coming right back.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Dear Sport.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. UWF head football coach Pete Shinnick announced earlier this month that Caleb Nobles has received additional duties, being named the co-offensive coordinator. Nobles has been the quarterback's coach for the past 3 seasons, and he was UWF's first starting quarterback during the inaugural season in 2016. Having played in our system for 1 year and now coached for the last 3 years, Caleb understands our offenses as well as anyone, said Coach Shinnick. Nobles has mentored UWF signal callers each of the last 3 years, including National Freshman of the Year Austin Reed in 2019. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Simeon Price from West Florida Tech. Perhaps the most versatile recruit around, Price has a 3-star rating and is classified as a top 100 player in the nation and number 60 overall in Florida. Price has 17 offers, which include Oklahoma, Virginia, and Mississippi State, to name a few. Covering Price through high school football, let me just tell you, this kid can do it all. Playing wideout, running back, and you may even catch him throwing a pass, and make no mistake, he's not just a one-trick pony, he's also a track and field monster as well. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Gathering at Pensacola Beach is a wonderful family experience. If you thought of having a family celebration or an amazing beach wedding, there's a very special home now available, Casa de Luna. Casa de Luna is spacious with room for large families. It has 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Casa de Luna is a large private home with a refreshing pool and water views. The pool can be heated for swimming in colder months. Casa de Luna is unique in that the main living area is directly on sand level. It's very convenient. Bedrooms are both on the sand level and upstairs. One bathroom is handicap friendly and another has a new jacuzzi. And there's a large gaming porch with pool table, foosball, hockey, ping pong, and Xbox One. Bicycles are provided. Bring your family to Casa de Luna on Pensacola Beach.
For information, call Casa de Luna owner Tim at 791-6400. That's 791-6400. 791-6400.
For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1930, Babe Ruth homers in both games of a doubleheader, giving him 9 for the week. In 1935, track and field athlete Jesse Owens equals or breaks 4 world records in 45 minutes at a Big Ten meet at Ferry Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan, fondly remembered as the greatest 45 minutes ever in sport. 1981, Bobby Unser wins, loses, and wins a controversial Indy 500. The Indy 500 ended in controversy when Mario Andretti, who finished second to Bobby Unser, is declared the winner because Unser broke a rule during a slowdown period near the end of the race. The decision is later reversed, giving Unser credit for the victory, but he is fined $40,000. In 1982, Fergie Jenkins becomes the 7th pitcher to strike out 3,000 batters. And in 1984, Red Sox trade pitcher Dennis Eckersley to the Cubs for Bill Buckner. For Buckner, it was the play that defined the career of Boston Red Sox first baseman in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, where Buckner let a ground ball go through his legs, which was the play that eventually lost his team the World Series. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Glad to be back in the saddle. Coming up on the Sports Drive, JP and I will break down some of the new news going on in the NFL, college football jokes you may or may not want to hear, and, have some fun, boys.
Emmitt Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Emma scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmitt Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Chad Brillante, glad to be here. Literally glad to be here alongside JP. Thanks for holding down the fort yesterday, and guys did a good job. Probably have more factual information than usual. People are like, things seem true right here. But was able to watch from bed, was recovering by doctor's note. And let's just say no energy drinks for a while, and glad to be back. So a little bit of a scare, but we're ready to go. And don't have to miss any college football games this week or things like that. You know, in the South, if that would have happened on like a Friday, I'd have been like, sorry, Doc, you're going to have to take these things off. We're not going to do the CAT scan. We're going to go ahead and just
give me the pills.
Just go ahead and give me what you need to do. Because in 3 hours, I'm tailgating and doing everything you said no, I would not. But, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call on life probably. And just glad to be here. But we have a lot to get to on today's show as the NFL, look, a lot of these rule changes going on. The Sky Judge. Is there any other job that you could be at, like a local establishment, and walk up if you were a single man and be like, what's your job? Well, you know, I quit my job at the bank, was a CEO. I'm now the Sky Judge of the NFL. I'm sorry, what is that? Pretty much, I have a button, like one of those bad guy movies, and you just hit the button whenever you want and just overturn a call, do what I want to do. If it's a call like in New Orleans, if it was hideous, I just get to go, call on the field is overturned. It's not probably not going to be like that, but it's pretty much that's what he gets to do.
A lot of power.
A lot of power. This guy, I hope he gets one of those seats that has the two tigers next to him that are like crossing over the bars. Like he should wear like the most ridiculous outfit. He should have like a pretty much, if he doesn't always wrap himself in velvet with like some type of NFL crown, chalice, one button, calls overturned. This guy's got all the power, man. It's going to be awesome. But I think they should have done this last year. They should have made this rule last year because 13 of 81 were overturned when it came to the NFL pass interference rule. Now for this, the blown calls, compromise, anything that's happening on the sidelines, the Sky Judge idea is a 2-year process, and it's going to go into effect this year, and pretty much they can overturn. This guy can make that judgment call.
Well, they're going to try it out in preseason. They said they won't vote on it until 2021.
Okay.
And the reason they said they did that, which, I agree on this, just because sometimes all the glitters is not gold. We have to remember that. And this all seems well and good. The details of this are still a little sketchy, which I think is why they're taking their time. But remember, Troy Vincent came out yesterday and said, or the day before, and said, listen, the whole play action thing, we made a mistake. We failed miserably. And I think it's important. People go, well, yeah, everybody knew that. But I think it's important the NFL came out and admitted that to everybody. We don't see sometimes they don't admit when they're wrong. They're just like, yeah, we'll move it along. But I think it's important that they moved on and they admitted their mistake there. And with this, the Sky Judge, they're going to, like I said, try it out in preseason. They'll vote on it in 2021 because they said they do not want to rush into any other rules. That being said, when you talk about the Sky Judge, it seems like a no-brainer, but we'll see. If it's I wish it was a lot like the XFL in the sense of we could hear what they're saying. We could hear the guy. Remember in XFL, you could hear him talking to the referees on the field. So you had that extra guy there in the booth, and we could understand what's going on because sometimes we get those calls and we're like, what happened? What do you mean? How did they not see this? Where in the XFL you can't hide behind it because they're speaking back and forth. And, of course, with that being said today, the owners also they tabled the whole proposal of the 4th and 15 rule, which, if you didn't know, it was 4th and 15. They said in the verbiage you could only do it twice. They changed it quite a few times. Originally it was when you were behind. Yeah. Then they said at any time, and then it came out that you could only do it twice, which I thought it would pass because you can only do it twice.
They realized Patrick Mahomes was on the Chiefs.
That's two extra opportunities. I mean,
you're going to lose by 14 more points. They're like, no thanks.
Well, and we saw, Coach K. I asked Coach K on Talk Football today about it, and Coach K's against it just because you have to understand from a fan perspective, we love it. It's no doubt. Like, you love that idea of 4th and 15. I don't, because the Titans are not – Tannehill is not built for 4th and 15. They're built to run the football. But teams like Patrick Mahomes, they become so much more fun to watch. And it's interesting. It brings a different aspect to the game instead of the lowly onside kick. And it's, to me, I love it as a fan, as a coach. Like Coach K said, it's a nightmare. He's like, I'm against this. just because this completely changes the entire football game. This changes the way you game plan. So, they axed that for this year. We'll see what happens there. But as of right now, look, I think you can have 3 people come off the IR is another rule. There's some other, boring rules that maybe as you're a fan you don't really care about. But there you go.
I think our perspective of boring has changed
That's
over the last
true.
couple months.
Very true.
I'm taking notes, taking the day off. It's and no caffeine has been one of these kind of things where it's tough in this business, especially when your brain's racing. But I'm doing notes, and then I'd get distracted, and then try to do notes and get distracted, lay down, fall asleep, and I'm sitting there and realizing that Serie A football coming back in a couple weeks, Premier League coming back. This is with the U on it, not the big O's right there, not 2 O's in your face like we like. But the difference is we understand that anything. That monkey playing ping pong in Belarus against that guy that I lost $50 on. Should have took the monk. But we realize at this point that anything is exciting. I've been watching Bundesliga soccer, getting into it. I like, what is cool is to see what people do when they're in a situation where they have to change things up. And one of the things that they're doing right now, they had to find a way to shake it up with like the fake crowds. Soccer stadiums, half of the battle is those crazy noises or the vuvuzelas when you go to South Africa for the World Cup. And they've done a great job. I mean, they've even gone to the lengths of the PA guy, who maybe he's wearing a mask upstairs. Who knows? He's not a sky judge. We don't see him. But he makes the, if it's one of those bicycle kicks or that classic corner that the guy heads it off the top of the post, but they still cheer. And they still make the cheering noise. Like the guy presses a button and they're like, like giving him like brownie points. So he's still up there like giving the people, or like when there's like a hard hit and a yellow card comes out, they boo him if it's the opposite team. So like they get all into it, and it sounds pretty cool. And inside those stadiums, the way that they're pretty much set up, it bounces off those roofs pretty awesome. Those crow's nest type looks. So I hope that we can learn from this, because more than likely all the sports that we're going to love aren't going to immediately start off with fans at all. And people just need to get used to it. Scott Boras today talking about how the players don't need to bow down to the owners. Once again, this is one of these, you don't have to open your mouth. Like, it was Scott Boras Fest when it was down in the winter meetings, because he made over $1 billion in deals with the players that he had. Anthony Rendon, he had big names all over. Steven Strasburg's deal going on, Garrett Cole. All these deals were going on, and he made over $1 billion. And he's worried because if they only play 82 games, more than likely he's only going to get paid for all those athletes for 82. But Scott, I don't know how good he was. I don't know if he batted around the Mendoza line, or if he was one of these guys that back in high school, back when he wore that Letterman jacket, he used to hit 30, 40 bombs. He's a big man on campus, Scott. But now you sit back, and you're really good at wheeling and dealing contracts of other really good people, like a caddy in golf latching on to Tiger Woods. Pretty good job, making $17 million off Tiger Woods in his career. But the difference is you have those extra homes in the islands that we've never heard of. You have all this stuff because other people are there that good. And you're not the one, really, at this point, even though you are the one speaking on behalf of the players. That's what they pay you for. But you're not the one people want to hear right now. I don't want to hear crap from you. Nobody in this society feels bad for you at all. I mean, at least the players, you might say, well, when they're talking about the pay cuts from the pitchers, well, you know what? It's easy for us to sit here, but Kershaw maybe earned that, not in the playoffs, but earned that $30 million. Or Garrett Cole, what he did. They earned those contracts based on the money at hand. But nobody wants to hear it from the agent that just made $1 billion, that had $1 billion in contracts, which he walked off with over $100 million in pretty much when all was said and done. Not just with those, but this year alone, $100 million in contracts. I think they get 7% in baseball,
Yeah,
5 to 7% depending the agent. So that alone, he made 50 to 70, and that's only 3 or 4 contracts. Nobody's going to feel bad for him. I just don't want to hear it from Scott Boras to bow down to the owners.
I agree. And listen, whatever side of this, I hear both sides of the arguments from people. I personally, as a fan, I want to see baseball. I get on a player's aspect of, well, they're taking more of our money. Okay, whatever. You know what? I'm not a major league player. Look, I know we're going to hear from Greg Litton later on today.
Yeah,
He'll talk about it. And he has the opinion of, you know what? Go play baseball. Like, take your money. Understand that this is different for everybody here. And, go on and play ball. Just from the Scott Boras aspect of this, just for people so they understand what we're talking about with the $1 billion, Mike Moustakas signed a 4-year deal worth $64 million this offseason with the Reds. Strasburg, 7-year deal worth $245. Garrett Cole, 9-year deal worth $324. Anthony Rendon, 7-year deal, $245 million. Dallas Keuchel, 3-year worth $55.5. Hyun-Jin Ryu, a 4-year deal worth $80 million. Like, that's over $1 billion, like you said. And listen, that's in a span of 3 weeks. So, and I get that's his job. He's great at his job when you look at it, being able to get these guys that kind of money. But listen, we talk about pitchers and guys that like Blake Snell. I almost forgot his name. Thank goodness. But we talk about guys like Blake Snell and like, what are you doing? Why are you speaking up of all people? Like, you're a guy that had 1 year of success, and yes, he had a great year. But it's a guy that can't stay healthy. A guy that obviously, a lot of people they look at him. He's not a well-respected guy. Let's be honest.
You got to say first off, you got to shave that crust too. I don't know what's going on there. Go big or go home. Like just saying.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree. But the thing is, we
says
talk
a lot
about,
when you do the middle stash. Like
not cool.
Not cool.
I got to shave too.
With this hair, if I tried that, kids would be running at the park. I can't run right now, but they would be running.
But it's something that we talk about. We don't want to hear that from Blake Snell. Well, we dang sure don't want to hear from Scott Boras, the guy that's banking off of these guys.
Yeah.
Like, you can understand a little more perspective coming from an actual major league player, but for Scott Boras, who doesn't have the greatest reputation, and you know what? I don't think there's an agent out there that probably has a great reputation because they're out there to get their money. They're out there to get their clients more money. But to hear from him, this is going to become a bigger issue. We heard from Tommy Thrall yesterday. He came on the show, and it was great to hear from Tommy, but I asked Tommy directly, are we going to have a baseball season? And he said yes. He's pretty confident we are. From what he's hearing on the inside is, look, a lot of these owners have the money put back and able to do this. But you also, if you don't have to reach into that rainy day fund, because a lot of things can happen, we see that with COVID-19 and it's stopped everything, then you don't need to. And understanding that, listen, there's going to be, it seems like, no fans in the stands. They may even not be able to play in their home ballparks. They may be down in Arizona and Florida. We'll see what happens when they move forward here. But we can't even get by this money issue. But he said if push came to shove, they do have the money to be able to do this. Now, it would hurt them, but they can do this. And I think obviously the players know that. And that's where I wonder. Now, we see today that the players are supposed to counter that offer with about 100 games with the prorated salaries. I don't know if this is
it's different times we're in, and we need to understand. I mean, I saw one of those on the Cox cable device. They have those little pop-ups on things. I find out more about that sometimes. Like when I'm on a phone call, I pause my TV and they go through like the Blue Mountain Ranges, and they're like, "Oh, that guy." Okay, found out Mr. Wilhelm, George Costanza's old boss from the Yankees, died. He had a real name. I think it was Richard Hurd or something, but 87 years old. Saw that on the bottom yesterday. Mr. Wilhelm right there. But also, Bed Bath & Beyond and Cinnabon are shutting down about 40 places. Not Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath & Body Works in the mall. That's just scary because that was a combination my wife and I enjoyed. She would go to Bath & Body Works, and I'd go to Cinnabon, and now I don't know what we're going to do at the mall now. So I'm a little confused. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of that right there overall. We're going to get into some conversations when we come back on the NFL. We will talk to Greg Litton, former major leaguer, coming up here. Baker or Dak? You can weigh in. 850-623-1330 is the number. 850-623-1330. Who has more pressure in 2020 to have a better season? And this is assuming Dak signs. And we play a football season. A lot of ifs to this, as we have been doing that for 2 months. But Dak or Baker, who has more pressure? Or is it an outside source?
What about Brady?
So I was about to say some loser who left us in New England right there, but you know what? I don't even know his name anymore. We're coming back for more. He's just a guy breaking and entering, throwing practices in a park. Don't know the guy anymore. I know a goat that used to play for him. Sports Drive.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
The year was 1919. Barbasol shaving cream was invented by a dreamer named Frank Shields. The world's first modern shave cream, Barbasol changed the face of shaving forever. A few billion shaves later, Frank's dream lives on. Behind every face is a dream. Barbasol proudly salutes every fearless, self-assured, wide-eyed dreamer all across America. Celebrating 100 years. Barbasol.
Hey guys, I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing two really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup, so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy, so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Locally owned Jackson Pace Pharmacy has exciting news for ED patients. Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic for Cialis, is now here, and the cost savings are huge. Save 80% on the 20-milligram tablets, 30 tablets for $80, less than $3 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, so stop by Jackson Pace Pharmacy, 2256 West 9 Mile Road in Pensacola, and cash in on the savings today.
JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Y'all ain't know why, right? Love that on that beat. Let's go. No masterpiece. Hey. 10 bad babs and they after me. Bam. One bad look like a masterpiece. Looking for a dunk like an athlete.
And welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM. 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV.
Thank goodness that's clean.
What?
I'm glad I have the clean
headset
versions
thing?
of these. No, this song. When it started playing, I said, oh, crud. This is not a normal clean song.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
Let's just... Hey, by the way, I was tested. I don't have the coronavirus. Not purpose. See, you gave blood.
Yeah, they're
See, I gave blood about 4 times in the last couple of days.
You didn't have a choice. No, I went to One Blood today because I do the antibody testing too, and I was going to give blood anyway.
Look at us both donating our time.
Yeah, mine was
mine. I'm
going
to get billed.
Yes, yours is a little more expensive.
One thing I was upset. It is funny because even in times of where you might be dying, I wasn't sure at that time, but and I'll explain it. We don't need to scare anybody. Right there, we're here. We're moving on. Thank you. That better be water.
It is water.
Okay.
No.
All right. We know.
Not giving you anything else. You get just water.
It did come from your house. It's just a regular water bottle here.
There
But
you go.
I was a little upset because, and thank you, JP. I appreciate it. After the show a couple days ago, drove me over to the ER. Was having heart palpitations, but good now. It's just pretty much a pulled muscle in the heart, like that guy overdoing his lifts, and there will be no caffeine, and there will be nothing, no shots during the weekend. None of that happening for a while. I'm just gonna go all natural.
O'Doul's.
Yeah, there you go. But the St. Pauli girl, no duels though. But I will have to say though, it was scary. And when we went down there though, and one of the things that we were in the waiting room, and they pulled me into the other one, and it was in the bottom of the ninth of a good Cleveland versus Cubs World Series game, and I'm at this point where I'm waiting, like not sure what the results are going to be back from the CT scan on blood clots or heart attack, and they're sitting there. I'm like, why would you pull me from that? So 2 hours I didn't get to watch. And I was a little disappointed. So I do have to. That's at that moment I realized, who won that game by the way? It was 2016, right? I
was. We got pulled in there. I mean, that's.
It was. I think the Cubs won. I'd have bet on the Cubs in that Game 7 right there, coming back. Let's get to a couple fun jokes to get people in the mood right here, or really tick people off. Why not? Just jump back in the saddle and meet the. Why did the LSU former coach get lost taking a shortcut to work?
I don't know why.
Wasn't clock management, actually. Because it was less miles. There you go.
Yeah, that actually works. Normally you're like, that is a lazy joke, but that actually makes sense. Okay.
These are going to be borderline corny. Some of the ones I've already – how can you tell if an Auburn football player has a girlfriend?
Oh, boy. This is not going to be
yeah. You can tell because the tobacco juice is on both sides of the pickup truck.
So. She would agree with that, I'm sure.
What do you get when you put 32 Arkansas cheerleaders in one room?
Oh, this is not going to be
good.
good.
One full set of sweet teeth right there. I'm really not supposed to be laughing. So I'm going to calm down here. Why is Nebraska football field artificial and not grass?
So corn doesn't grow in it? I don't know.
To keep most of their fans, if you've seen them, from grazing on the field.
That's my favorite one so far. That is my favorite one.
I've been to Arkansas. I said Arkansas.
Oh,
I was going to say works for both there. But, if you're – why am I doing this? It's like I'm not – why are you driving – if you're driving and you see a Miami football player riding a bicycle, why should you take great care and not hit him?
Because he's the paper boy?
No, because it could be your family's bike.
Oh, my goodness. That's way better.
Why do Alabama football players like smart women? No, opposites attract, yeah. Why was O.J. trying to escape in a white Bronco to Knoxville, Tennessee?
Oh, this is not going to – Tennessee fans never take
Tennessee
this
fans are not going to like this one. Police would never look for a Heisman Trophy winner in there. Let's add off. We're already getting them upset, so let's add fuel to the fire. Why did Tennessee fans wear orange? So they can dress that way for game time on Saturday, hunting on Sunday, and then pick up trash on Monday. So look at that. Knock out 3 birds with one stone right there. How about that? Capiche. How do you get a former South Carolina player off your porch?
I don't know.
You pay him for the pizza. Come on, get him out. You're stuck in a cave with an angry grizzly bear, a mountain lion, and a Texas A&M fan. You have a gun with 2 bullets. What should you do? Shoot the Aggie fan twice. I think we've seen this one. But the Notre Dame fan was this one's – I wish Jeff Waynes was listening to this one. Notre Dame and Navy fans are watching the game together with their dog. Navy kicks off, and they start scoring, and the dog starts barking and gets excited. And guy goes, how long has your dog been a Navy fan? He goes, does he always cheer this way when they're beating Notre Dame? He goes, I don't know. The dog's only 19 years old.
Oh, God.
Scrawny man at the bar in Ann Arbor says the guy sitting next to him, hey, do you want to hear a really funny Michigan joke? The guy replies, hey, buddy, see the bartender? He played at Michigan. See those 2 guys over there? They played at Michigan. See the group of guys over there? They're all Michigan guys. I'm 6'4", 275 pounds. I played there too and bleed. The colors right there of gold and blue. You still want to tell this joke? Scrawny man looks over and goes, nah, I don't want to explain it 20 times. University of Texas football player walks into a doctor's office and removes his hat to reveal a frog sitting on top of his head. The doctor asks, what can I do for you? The frog replied, can you take this wart off my butt? How do you
What is going on?
Why did the Mississippi State football player put their diploma on the dashboard so they can park in a handicap spot.
What a low blow.
Okay. All right. On that one, we will go ahead and take a break from jokes and get back into some of the conversation. Dacker, let's get into Dak and Baker. Many jokes can be made of both these guys over the last couple months. Dak wants money that we've never seen before, and he was 1-6 against playoff teams last year. One playoff win in 4 years, but Jerry said he's the guy. He's a good quarterback. I wouldn't say he's elite, but solid guy that deserves to get paid. That's what the league is talking about, is paying this guy. But here's the deal. I don't have a problem with all of that. He was offered 5-year, $175 million contract. What I have a problem with is you're declining this. It's like the balding guy in his 40s that, quote, has a dad bod, and the supermodel walks up, got a degree from MIT, nice, and, hey, do you mind, can we have a drink? She wants to buy you a drink, and you're like, got my eyes on the other Brazilian supermodel behind you there, okay? So if you can just move along here, sweetie, I think. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what's happening? Shallow Hal, the movie. I mean, that's pretty much Dak Prescott is Shallow Hal, the movie. He's the real life Shallow Hal. Like, 5-year, $175 million would make you the highest paid contract. Second highest paid quarterback per year. If somebody says that doesn't make sense, it's the length of the contract that makes it the most. But per year, Russell Wilson, every day I'm rustling, would be right over him. So, but take the money. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? I hope he gets out of here. They go with the Red Rocket. He's been out of fuel, but I hope they do that. That'd be fun.
This is my thing on this, and we heard today that, of course, the Chiefs are starting talks with Patrick Mahomes for that extension. Don't expect that to get done this year. They're just starting talks, but I think it's going to be interesting. With Dak, though, look, I talked about this yesterday. Who has more pressure, Dak or Brady? And a lot of people are saying, well, Brady, because he's going there and he's got to win another championship. That's the whole reason he left New England. He wants to prove. Yes, I get that, okay? But what my point on all this is, no matter what happens, even if the Bucs don't make the playoffs, he'll be fine. Because, one,
yeah, he will.
Brady is still Brady. He is the GOAT for a reason. Even if he has a bad year in Tampa, guess what? He's still going to go to the Hall of Fame. He's still going to be looked at as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. It's 6 rings. He's going to be a part of that dynasty that we may never see a dynasty like that again in the NFL, just because of the way the game is. But Brady is still Brady. Like, he's carved out his niche. Dak has not carved out his niche. Dak has looked upon this is what I said yesterday. Whether you hate Brady or you love Brady, everybody respects Brady and says he's a heck of a quarterback. When you look at Dak,
I've had that devil and an angel on my shoulder over the last couple months myself. Love him and hate him at the same month. In the same month, right there. I still will always love him.
Yeah, well, the thing is everybody will respect him. I'm not a Patriot fan. I'm a Titan fan. But you still, regardless of what type of fan you are, you can despise the guy, but you tip your cap because of the type of player that he is and that he's been. You got no cap. The hair's. Yeah.
Didn't move. I have not showered in 2 days. I'm not sorry about that, people.
Thank goodness his glasses.
They said that yesterday. They're like, your hair is. I'm like, just stays that way. I'm sorry.
But it's something with Dak. He does not have that. When you ask about Dak, some people say, here's the thing. If Brady wanted this type of money, people would go, yeah, give him what he wants. People are talking about with Patrick Mahomes, give him what he wants. And Patrick Mahomes is still, he hasn't been in the league that long. Like, let's think about this for a second.
Give the man his money. The only thing I disagree with that, I told you I was going to calm down again easily, but Mahomes, no matter what, is already proven because he won a Super Bowl.
That's what I'm getting at.
And he is the best player in the NFL right now.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And my point being is, okay, so people are saying that about Mahomes. Now let's talk about Dak for a minute. Half the people are saying pay him. Half the people are saying absolutely not. This guy is not worth the money. Where if you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, people are saying pay him. You know what? You may not agree with it, but you know what? Look, we can't let this guy walk. Pay the guy what he wants. Brady, pay the guy what he wants. If Brady would have asked for this kind of money, he would have got it. So that's what I'm saying with Dak, when we have to stop and look. And then if you want to look at it, look, Dak's a great player. Not an elite player, but he's a great player. But you cannot discount the fact that he's played behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. He's had one of the best running backs in the NFL. They went over there and they spent the money to get Amari Cooper over here. They still have Michael Gallup, who's a stud. They had Jason Witten for some years. I understand. And for people that say, well, look what he did for them whenever Tony Romo went down. Look, nobody owes anybody anything. Because if you switch this up, it's the same. Dak doesn't owe the Cowboys nothing. The Cowboys don't owe Dak nothing. That's what it comes down to. It's just business. But at the same time, when you look at this, for Dak, he was 1-6 last year against teams that were above 500. He threw 8 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So people that want to say, well, the Cowboys lost him that game, that's mediocrity, my friend, regardless of the record. 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, that's mediocrity. That's Jameis Winston-style numbers right there. And then, okay, you want to look at his career. He's 6-17 in his career against teams above 500. I'm not even saying necessarily playoff teams, but teams above 500. He throws 25 touchdowns and 25 interceptions. So in all this, this is a quarterback that beats who he's supposed to beat, because with teams that are below 500, he goes 7-2. Yeah, okay, so he beats who he's supposed to beat, but he can't beat the other people. He can't win the big games. That's my argument in this, where I understand I'm not going to stop a guy from trying to get his money, but at the same time, they're offering him this money.
It should go down to common sense. I think so much we get caught up in the numbers of contracts and teams that should pay a guy, or how we like a guy. Like Lamar Jackson, his style, his swag, people can get behind it. But Lamar Jackson still, even though he has immense talent, I'd be cautious to pay Lamar Jackson a lot. And people go, he's MVP. He's never won a playoff game. He's had 2 chances and lost both. And you can say what you want. It wasn't all his fault. But look, he did not come through in the clutch last year when he had opportunities. They were moving the ball left and right on the Titans, and they'd get down in the red zone, and it'd be a 4th and 1, and he'd get pushed back, or he'd throw a pick, or something would happen. And you get those yards like Mac Jones did against Auburn. That's the thing, is you can look back at stats, and they can be so misleading. Stats are like a bikini. They show some, but not all. And the difference is you need to.
Bikinis do show just about all.
The swimsuit edition, and it's not even like they're not wearing anything. That's paint. Be like, not that I would know. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. But we need to understand though that people, when it comes to, you can use your 2 eyes, use common sense when you watch a game. People can, like Mac Jones, put up big numbers in that game. He had like over 400 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. Yeah, that was a shootout type game. But he threw 2 picks in the end zone, and they lost by less than a touchdown. Those are the kind of things. We're not saying they're bad players. I'm not saying Dak's a bad player. I'm not saying Mac Jones is a bad player. It's going to be a fun quarterback battle with him and Bryce Young. But the difference is I just want to see people use their own judgment, because I got no ties. If anything, even if Tom Brady didn't leave, the writing was on the wall that Kansas City was about to dethrone a lot of people. If they added some depth around him, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a huge pickup. He fits that mold perfect. Tyreek Hill seems back. He's not doing anything terrible with his family that we know of right now. Travis Kelce's a beast. Legendary player. Awesome guy. He's just the dude. He wins the Bro Award. He's taking that over. But everybody and then you got Sammy Watkins, who was a number 1 on every team he was in before this. So you got a ton of guys around them. They've got a roster to win, but Patrick Mahomes is something special. And if people don't see that, no other quarterback would have been able to come back from 10-point, 10-point, and 24-point. And even in the Super Bowl, when he was human, against what was clearly nobody, I'm not arguing this. San Francisco is the best defense in the NFL by far last year. And against the best defense, he threw a pick. He made a couple mistakes. He looked human. And what does he do? When it comes down to mano-y-mano, Jimmy G out there wanted to celebrate his own ways. We can't talk about it, family show. And then you got 2 guys battling it back and forth. Well, Mahomes puts up 2 straight touchdowns, and Jimmy Garoppolo goes out there and misses Emmanuel Sanders on the big play. And Mahomes still wins the Super Bowl, finds a way to win. Guy is insanely good, and I'm not saying this because I have any ties to him, or he talks like Kermit the Frog, or he likes ketchup. I don't like ketchup. Texas Tech, whatever. Nothing, no ties here. But Patrick Mahomes has a chance, if he stays with his potential and everything about him, has a chance to be the best quarterback ever. Now, like I said, I'm not even putting him in that realm. I'm not going down that path. But he has the physical tools and makeup to do things like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, frankly, has been living on his physical tools and makeup for, what is it? It's been about 5 or 6 years. Look at the years. There's a lot of 9-7. Teams that they haven't been close to winning anything in even this year. I know they got to the NFC, but they really weren't going to win that game. Nobody had them winning that game. They got blown out. But Aaron Rodgers has been living on that because Aaron Rodgers was a quarterback that had the tools to be the greatest quarterback ever. And he has one Super Bowl right now. Patrick Mahomes, it is way too long to judge that today. And I'm even saying that to everybody here today. I'm not saying, but some people are not blessed. Dak Prescott's not blessed with that. There are people that can't be that good. He can be that good if he wants to be that good. He's already proven it.
I want to go back to something that's very important that we talk about that you said, and that's the fact that you don't like ketchup.
Well, no. I don't. I'll eat ketchup with fries and eat them on hot dogs.
Okay, I thought you were
no.
Okay.
But I'm not obsessed. I'm not
okay.
All
right, you just said I didn't like ketchup, and I was like, whoa, whoa. This is bigger than Patrick Mahomes.
If you got the hash browns on there and you have it around the eggs, no problem. I'm not a. I made eggs
with my hash browns. Ooh.
Well, it's not bad. It's not.
Bring it on, baby.
My brain is. They called me Waffle House, chunk covered, smothered. I mean, when you get it all. But I'll tell you though. I think though, if you're going to put it on the plate, it's one thing. But if you're going to put it just on your eggs, I'm not a fan of that. Get it out of here. Like you say, get that salsa sauce.
I know we got to go to break real quick. I just want to say
no,
this.
we're going to stay on ketchup here.
Oh, okay. All right. I just saw this tweet. This is Trevor Plouffe. All right. Okay. But he said, you want some good baseball news? He just heard
Big
from
Daddy
multiple
Plouffe, right?
Yeah, Big Daddy P.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, he just heard from multiple sources that on June 10th, spring training will start. July 1st will be opening day, and all teams will be playing at their home ballparks.
That's pretty cool.
That's what he says.
Awesome.
That's his tweet.
I mean, did he source somebody? I mean, he just
said he heard from multiple sources.
This is from a semi-above average or middle of the pack third baseman for a lot of his career, and DH.
But you know what?
Meister,
you know what's crazy though? We say that, people hear that, and they go, "What? Baseball's back!" Whether it's true or not, people don't care. They want to accept it that it's true. That's me. I want to do it.
He has nothing to gain and everything to be hated for. If this is not true, I don't understand.
He'll be a bold-faced liar.
If this is not like any of this news is not accurate, he doesn't. He's not even getting a paycheck from this. He's not in the league anymore. So I thought he seemed like the kind of guy that would pop up with like an NC Dinos, doesn't he? He seems exactly like the name.
He'd be the big bopper.
Those guys. Like, I remember Trevor Plouffe. He's one of those kind of guys. He's the perfect mold of that guy.
10 dingers, baby.
That you
striking
remember
out 200 times a year.
It's like a Colin McHugh kind of guy for Houston. Like those guys like, I remember him. McHugh was okay out of the bullpen. Let's go ahead and take a break. Everybody was. They knew what was happening.
End on Colin McHugh.
That's the signs. Read your signs.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team we will get through these difficult times. And together we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. Learn more at wearebroadcasters.com/hope, furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Camp Bow Wow is a day and overnight camp just for dogs. But don't take my word for it. Here's one of their campers. I couldn't agree more, Cooper. Camp Bow Wow is where your dog plays all day, then snoozes the night away. Camp Bow Wow also has spacious play areas, cabins with comfy cots, live webcams, and more. Whether your dog is coming to play for the day or staying overnight, they're sure to have a doggone good time at Camp Bow Wow in Pensacola, behind Walgreens on the corner of 9th and Langley, and online at campbowwow.com/Pensacola.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of ESPN Daily. Each morning, we bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. It's the best of ESPN Daily. ESPN Daily is presented by Marathon. Right now, you can get 5 cents off every gallon every day with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. It's quick and easy to join. Just download the free Make It Count app or go to makeitcount.com/radio and start saving today. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Nature took it to 10. Hey Panini, don't you be a meanie. Thought you wanted me to go, why you tryna keep me teeny? It's a dreamy, wished it on a genie. I got fans finally.
And welcome back, Sports Drive. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. By the way, when you're laid up in bed for a couple days and, taking her easy, but you still can actually, move and, wasn't out. Didn't go home with that medicine that, knocks you out cold or makes you all loopy. I'm already like that. But it was laid up there and had time to look at the top Google search names, by the way, for Sportsnet. You want to know your name, Jeff, right there? You were not on there officially. There was some JPs, but Jeff Price, JP here. His name, Jeffrey Dahmer, and your name was together on one. It was a slash name.
Yay.
A little more than that. But you also had Jeffrey Epstein was up there.
Yay. Well, this is a great
This
list.
doesn't say a lot about society, but it's the number one right there. Jeff Bezos from Amazon.
We're just rolling along here.
When it came to sports, Jeff Gordon was on there. He's
That's
off the
all right,
pedal there, Jeff. Jeff Hardy, the wrestler, and Jeff Goldblum. What a search right there.
Boy, that's
Don't worry,
not
your
a good
name
list.
crushes mine. Well, our top search, Chad Henne.
Oh, that's a good start.
Chad Kelly. I think this is also, it takes into account
Your name didn't
what
need
your
people,
search,
though, so.
what you search for too, and all that, because I would not expect most people, like most 13-year-old girls that are on things like I don't know what they're what TikTok is, that the big thing now?
I guess.
Would not be going. Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, was started. Chadwick Boseman, right there.
Is your name short for Chadwick? Please
It's
say
not.
yes.
It could be, actually, but it's not. It's actually one of only 4 or 5 names that doesn't have a.
I want to see a birth certificate.
I don't. But you
I
could
wish
have.
it was Chadwick.
You were at the hospital with me. You could. You just asked for the info. I gave you most of my insurance papers that day.
True.
Chad Johnson was on there as well.
Oh, there you go.
Johnny Manziel was still up there. John Cena, funny face. John Lennon, John Madden, and John Bon Jovi.
Wow, that's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good
how
name.
about that? Steve Harvey was the first for Steve's, followed by Steve Carell, and then you had Steve Smith and Steve Spurrier, and then I've had a pair of his shoes. They're nice. Steve Madden's right there. And
Got some Steve Maddens?
Steve Jobs, R.I.P. right there. Scott, do you want to take an idiot for Scott here?
Scott Boras.
Not bad right there. He's not. No, he actually got beat out. Remember, once again, I think they circulate where you live. Scott Lunsford, a tax collector, was on there as well. So I was like, wait a second, he's number one. What did he do this week? Sometimes it's like one of those trending things. So I clicked it, but no, it's just maybe it's a wake up call for me right there. Still haven't got my stimulus check, but Scotty, gonna have medical bills. Let's get that here. Scottie Pippen was after the Last Dance, I think. Scott Tolzien, which is funny because he was right next to Scott's toilet paper, which is sort of his career as well.
It's perfect.
Perfect right there. Joe, do you want to take an idiot, Joe?
Joe.
Come on.
Mama and
Well, that's
Joe DiMaggio.
no, Joe Mama was not. No, who's Googling Joe DiMaggio? Unless it's
No.
like Stars and Stripes athletes from back in.
Joe Rogan?
No, but
Is he on the
not a
list?
bad one right there. He was. It was Joe Exotic.
How did I miss that? You know what? I'm going dark.
That's what isn't Joe Exotic now. But you need to. First off, you can't go dark today. I need you.
It's true. That's true. I can't.
And secondly, I have a better chance to go dark, but it's not. It's a phone call to make. But
very dark.
But Joe, didn't he want to do? He called. You were talking about this is a real source that he called somebody in Navarre to do. He wants to do his movie down here. Is he still in jail, by the way?
I don't know.
I don't
so.
either.
I know that this was an article.
It's all from Tiger King people
in the newspaper. I sent you the screenshot of the letter, and it was.
You know I don't read.
I know. Navarre Liquors had sent him a letter, I guess.
Makes sense.
Whatever. I'm not sure all that goes into that, but he
I've been a patron.
Thanks for the support. I will be back to Florida. You all stay online asking for that pardon, and the first something will be on the beach in Pensacola. Oh, whatever.
First Tiger?
I don't know. He said deal, all right, we got a deal. So I guess he wants people to be the voice on the outside. He talks about that. Then he talks about, you all know she killed Don, and
yes, I
something.
think.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think that's pretty clear.
So he goes on there. Look, I have 4 other movies in the works that they can't lie about because they're not in those. Just cold hard evidence. Be my voice. Love you all, Joe Exotic.
Yeah, you didn't need a crackhead gay man with 15 tigers to let people know that Carol Baskin. I mean, he hated her. She killed her. I mean, it's like we have to say allegedly to Barry Bonds using steroids or OJ at one point. She killed her ex-husband. I mean, the video shows she forged every signature. It shows that they have proof now that wasn't his signature on like the will. So she forged the wills, and he went missing when she parked a truck down there, and he never left. She went and moved a truck of his down by where he left on a plane, and they showed proof of her doing that. It was she didn't even try to get away with the setup. It was pretty much all the evidence was there, and this body just went missing, and you have 100 tigers that you live with, and everything after that changes, the wills, the way that, she now has a bunch of money and estates and everything to be taken care of. Everything. Unless an outside source we don't know of, it was the best setup in the history of the world. Because evidence is evidence, and there was overwhelming evidence. Just her brother also worked on the police force that lived in the same town.
That is the only time I feel that you can get away with saying that crackhead gay guy with 15 tigers.
Yeah, was truthful
and
on this.
not get in trouble.
No, I mean, it was exactly what he was. I mean, but everything about this, though, I don't need to get into that. But no. I'm not one of these that goes on the website saying I don't have time for that.
Well, that's the letter that he wrote to Navarre Liquors. So
there you go.
It's in the P&J.
But yeah, if you ask she definitely took him out. I mean, who else did? And he didn't want to. He had no wish. His whole family's like, we had notes that he wanted to see us next week. No, he didn't. Never mind. Get him out of here. Mike McCarthy right now is the number 1 search. Mike Tomlin, Mike Shanahan, Mike Ditka, Mike Singletary, Mike Gundy, and then Mike Tyson. I was surprised that these people had made it over Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson. And didn't he try to attack people last night at a wrestling event?
Tyson?
Yeah, there was some AE, the new one with we got to take a break in a second here, but there was the guy that's doing the new wrestling league down in Miami. Is it Buff Bagwell? No, that sounds like he was a wrestler, but that was Chris Jericho, I think. Chris Jericho started a new league, new wrestling league, and Mike Tyson was down there. He looked like he had a hard time getting off his shirt. It was
And Henry, whatever you say, mixed it up in AEW Pro Wrestling Brawl with Chris Jericho.
There it is. Okay,
yeah, okay.
There you go.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
All right.
Now look at that, though. And he didn't even make it over Mike Gundy. Mike Shanahan beat you out. He hasn't even coached, man. You got to step your game up right there. Hey, at least I have Chad Henne and Chad Kelly to go to.
I've got Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well. Yay. There he is.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture is now open at 3481 Gulf Breeze Parkway and is providing care for all ages from newborn to seniors. They offer manual or instrumental adjusting. Dr. Sheila Decker at Gulf Breeze Chiropractic offers acupuncture, therapy, custom orthotics, as well as MVA, workers' comp, and PI. To schedule your appointment today, call Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture at 850-903-1708 or visit online gulfbreezechiro.com.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Economic development, better schools, law enforcement, and public safety. Just a few of the issues that are on the minds of residents of Santa Rosa County. Twice a month, we take the time to recap the news events that shape and resolve the issues that affect our daily lives. Join us tonight for Focus on Santa Rosa, a 30-minute look back at the past 2 weeks of local news coverage by ESPN's sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. Focus on Santa Rosa, tonight at 8 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The greatest name in sports radio is ESPN. Wherever you have Alexa, you can hear ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Just say,
Alexa, enable ESPN Pensacola 1330 skill.
This is Northwest Florida's all sports, all the time station. From Destin to New Orleans, sports fans come here for ESPN and local sports talk. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I've broke down and I've cried. I've got nothing to hide no more. I've loved and I've hurt. Broken people down with words. More grace than I deserve for sure. Known to be crazy, known to be wild.
And welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, Jeffrey D. You guys thank you guys, by the way, for holding down the fort yesterday.
You got it,
I know
Dad.
Jeff would be here hanging out with us, and when the bar is open, I know that St. Pauli's girl or O'Doul's, that if they make it, that I get to drink now for a couple days, But all those days I miss, wasn't the doctor saying that I can make those days back up? So if I go, no, that's not how it works.
No, that is not what
I
he
go 2
said.
weeks, that's 14 days without a beer. When I come back that Sunday, let's go.
Just double fist them?
It's over a baker's dozen right there coming my way. So
Nope, that's
not what he means by that.
No,
Okay,
I don't
all right,
think
that's
so.
okay. So we're, but he said, buying into these Carol Baskin conspiracies. Listen, one thing as a researcher, you might disagree with my comments, and that is fine. That's what makes us today. And as people, there's a couple people that disagree on things in this country. I'm just going to say that. But one thing is I'll take the evidence in, and I want to hear it. Give the research. And Jeffrey D. is usually the guy that sits there, and he ends up saying something, and I'm like, well, crap, yes, you probably did research that more, and you're probably right. I usually don't have to say that to too many people. You get me once in a while on it. But for this one, no. All the evidence points to her. I don't know all the details. I'm not a but her brother is a cop that told them not to continue to investigate this story. They told her to stay away from her house pretty much. And she parked a van that day by a plane that she said he had left to another country. They saw her parking a van by there going back, and then she forged her signature on about 4 or 5 different wills, and they have proof of that now. They found evidence. They went back. So this is not a conspiracy, because when that guy says something, usually the first thing I would think is, I'm not going to believe that dude.
Thank you, Jeffrey D, for this. Thank you for
But
stirring him up.
I want to make this clear. Who else would have done that? He had family and friends. This guy had no enemies, it seemed like. And he wasn't ready to just disappear into what could have been a swamp or a tiger's mouth. There's no evidence of like a plane crashing or anything. He didn't go, there's nothing. He just disappeared, and then they stopped even looking at it. Sadly, I had to watch that documentary.
Once again, thank you, Jeffrey D.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you for
This
that.
is not a
Thank you for
conspiracy.
stirring
That guy
him up.
she fed him to the tigers. I don't know how, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe it was a gator. Some animal. Some animal ate him and his bones. Coming back, looking at some of the things right now as we are looking at Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, I hope he's.
Let's not look at Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco. Why? The lady's like, he's worth $100 million. Joe Flacco, I think he's married. Yes, he is. Dana Grady. So Joe Flacco, pride of Delaware, the Blue Hens.
The Hens.
Is a guy that at one point got paid over $100 million after winning the Super Bowl.
Money well spent.
Now he's on a one-year, $1.5 million contract. Now, he said he might not be 100% ready to go.
He's just letting you know.
He's just letting you know. But this would have been another one of those shots if that he did in Denver when he called out the whole offensive staff when he didn't need to after he threw the picks that lost him a game. But Joe Flacco, if he's saying this and he means like I'm going to be back, and I don't think he does. I think he wants to mentor. But the reports is Joe's saying I don't think I'm going to be ready to go week 1. What do you mean? Holding the clipboard?
Yeah.
The guy making the signals? I hope that's what you mean because
his neck.
Sam Darnold listening to this, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold, mano-y-mano, well, he always wins that. But in a one-on-one competition, I don't know. It would be a really good fight. Sam Darnold's not the guy that is locked in his job, but he's still the starter. I mean, Adam Gase and them, they're going to die together.
I think he is locked in his job, though.
Gase and Darnold are going to ride or die together because they both are going to either go out in flames this year. Because there's zero excuse now. You can't use the Brady excuse. The Bills have lost a lot of guys on defense. It's changed a lot.
No, I think Sam Darnold is locked in his place, and what I mean, it's not a good
like,
thing.
I'm not going to be good for week 1.
Yeah,
Andy Dalton should do that too, guys. I'm a little sore.
Oh my
Don't
goodness.
know if he should come out there. Yeah, stir. Guys, I don't know if the shoulder is going to be ready.
Not
the old
sure,
red,
guys.
The old red rocket might be a little out of gas
May
right
not
here.
make
I'm
the
not
playoffs
sure.
if I'm
don't
not
know.
ready.
I should be poised and ready to go, giving you those 300 yarders in week 3.
Perfect timing. Perfect.
Joe Flacco.
Enough said.
Joe Flacco, man. That's one of those. Joe Blanken Flacco, man.
What a bum.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
All right, Gardner Minshew ready to take control right there. Brings up the question. Who the blank is the backup in Jacksonville right now? Who are you battling? Who are you telling? You going to beat me out? I'm ready. Give me 2 weeks. Doctor's orders.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba.
Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. You like that seat? Is it comfy? Because we're about to switch, I think, here in a second. Is that? Why would you, out of everything, to keep you no caffeine? I really shouldn't be here today, and I appreciate everybody down here, the support at ADX and also there. But no, but I'm okay to come back. A little scare. Little heart scare, not that much, but back in the saddle and ready to go. But the one thing, now they've got an ESPN 150 on UCF and their claim at a national title and the parade that we had, and now this is on TV. And
I think it's just them. I'm not sure. I'm looking. They're showing some other teams.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, because I was told not to do it, so have at it, Haas, for the second hour. I'm going to go and I've been told, yeah, I probably should be doing that anyway. But I do have to say, let's just, I have it taped. It'll replay tonight. It's on one of those. ESPN Plus will have it. ESPN Plus.
They always have it.
Now, looking right now at the situation we talked about with Dak Prescott or Baker Mayfield, who do you feel right now has the most pressure when it comes to succeeding right away? I think Dak Prescott personally, I didn't answer this when we were talking about in the first hour. I think Dak has more pressure because Cowboy fans always, there's pressure. And most people, even though a lot of the pundits have Carson Wentz, if healthy, as the team to beat with Philadelphia, Dallas fans and a lot of people always expect Dallas to be a 12-4 type actual contender. I don't think that's realistic until Dak proves he can do it consistently, but it's a new coach. It's an upgrade. When I say that, I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is a Hall of Fame coach. I think he's a solid coach, but it's an upgrade from Maul Mannequin and Jason Garrett. But he's the kind of guy, though, that there's a lot of pressure. And he's going to sign a deal regardless. It looks like if he signs a deal, that's going to be worth ridiculous cash, and he has a wide receiving core that is great. Cleveland, they had a lot of problems that led to their coach being fired, but they're also, if Big Ben comes back and is healthy, and you have a situation where we know Baltimore is just growing, roster-wise, Baltimore or San Francisco has the best roster in football. That's my opinion. Baltimore or San Francisco has the best, and the Saints. It's not fair to say. Saints have a ridiculous roster, too. All three of them have the best roster. That doesn't mean that they're going to win the Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is still the quarterback to beat. But those three teams are loaded with talent. And Pittsburgh's still got a solid defense when healthy. If Big Ben comes back healthy, it immediately, to me, makes Baker in Cleveland number 3. And then you just added Joe Burrow. And I know people want to set the over-under at 5.5, 6 wins, but it's still the guy that literally just broke every single college football record and went 15-0. And yes, if I had to pick a season, I'd say I think he's going to go 7-9, 8-8. But Joe Burrow, every time somebody has doubted him, he's gone out there and had a bigger season. So for all of that combined, Cleveland fans have been dealing with depression for a long time in quarterbacks. There's a lot of pressure on Baker to keep his job. If he goes out there and has a bum year, they're going to be looking. But for the sake of the pressure, I still think there's more on Dak.
I do too, and the reason is regardless whether Dak plays on the franchise tag or he signs a big deal. If he signs a big deal, then okay, the question is going to be, was he worth that kind of money? That's the difference in all this. He's always going to be looked at until he goes and wins the big game and things like that. That's the way he's going to be looked upon. If he signs the tag, that's a completely different style of pressure because at least if you sign the deal, you get your money, and you got your money regardless. But if you play on the tag, that's 1 year.
Yeah.
And now you're in a contract year again, and now you got to go out to whether it's the Cowboys or whoever, and you got to prove that you're worth the big-time money that you turned down. So that's the difference with Dak Prescott. And you're right. Listen, the Cowboys, they always expect perfection. They're America's team, growing up. You talk about Emmitt Smith and the success they had there, things like that. That's what they're expected each and every year. I'm buying into the Eagles a little bit just because the defense is nasty. And if Carson Wentz, once again, it comes down to injuries. Can Carson Wentz stay healthy? Can the receiving corps stay healthy? Don't forget, with the Eagles, you still have Miles Sanders over there, pretty good guy. And they got a guy. The wide receiving corps they have to stay healthy. Regardless of, though, when you look at Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, people forget. a lot of pressure, a lot of things, a lot of naysayers about Baker Mayfield. And you know what? His first year was great. His second year last year was not. And a lot of people put on, you know what? He was on just about every commercial that you turned on during the football games. He didn't know when to shut up. He always replied to every reporter that was a naysayer towards him. We saw Rex Ryan, which Rex Ryan's never going to say anything positive just about anybody. But if he does say something positive to you, you need to check your life and your life choices. But with that being said, he's changed coaches. This is his third coach in 3 years. People need to realize that. Stefanski coming in, we talked about it on Talk Football. I like it because it's a 2 tight end set he's going to bring over here.
You like those 2 tight ends?
I do. You got to like the tight ends.
You got
to like them. But the 2 tight end set, they got a good running game. Remember, Nick Chubb was the leading rusher last year until Derrick Henry, the final week, took it over. They went and got Austin Hooper. They went and got Jack Conklin on the offensive line. They drafted Jedrick Wills Jr., so they're fixing their offensive line problems. Baker seems to be – he's saying the right things right now, which he's actually saying just about nothing. His first interview said, listen, I'm just not going to talk anymore. It's time to do, because the talking has got them nowhere. And I agree. You know what? People scoff and, yeah, we'll see. Well, he does have to go out and prove it. But regardless, all the coaching changes, this is going to be a big aspect for him. And unlike Dak, where the Eagles last year in that division, nobody wanted to win it, it seemed like. This division, you've got the Ravens, you got the Steelers, who almost made the playoffs with Bozo the Clown quarterbacks, and if they can get Big Ben healthy, like you said, they're going to be a team to look out for, and then themselves there. Now, Joe Burrow, that's a good point. I don't know what's going to happen with Cincinnati. When you look at the weapons he's got, you think they can win 7 games. But we'll see what happens with the defense. Remember, the defense has changed too. Zach Taylor's done a pretty good job bringing playoff caliber players to that defense. So we'll see what happens there.
What was Peyton Manning's first year? Was it 3-13?
Yes.
Okay, see, that's the thing is we immediately want results from rookie quarterbacks, but we have legends, good legends, like Peyton Manning and Troy Aikman, guys like that. Troy Aikman had 1 win his first year, and then he went on to win 3 Super Bowls. You had a guy like Peyton Manning, who personally, and this is coming from the mouth of what used to be the home of the GOAT in Tom Brady, and I'll say that Peyton Manning was the best regular season quarterback I ever saw play. Regular season. I mean, like those games where you don't want to take it easy, like every week he would just crush people. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. If you had Peyton Manning, Reggie Wayne, or Marvin Harrison on those fantasy football teams, it was over. I mean, every single Tom Brady had a lot of years where he said, "Oh yeah, we have a great defense. We have a good running game." Bill Belichick, yeah. Then Randy Moss comes to town, and a couple years they gave him receivers, and he broke everybody's record. But Tom Brady, a lot of the career, wasn't always the Drew Brees type numbers, the 4,500 to 5,000 type yards, 45 touchdowns. A lot of Brady's years were 3,900 yards, consistent, 35 touchdowns, 7 or 8 interceptions, numbers that are Hall of Fame regardless. But he always won the big moment, and he kept them consistent. He got better during the playoffs. Peyton Manning every year in the regular season just was ridiculous until he got to Denver. But he still was 3-13. We just immediately expect results. And, there's a reason Vegas doesn't throw money out there because at first look, it sounds stupid to think that Vegas threw 5.5 wins for Tua and Joe Burrow. I know that's Cincinnati and Miami, but 5.5 wins to say that these two guys, if they are legendary status and they're healthy, to go 6-10 for these two, seems like you'd cash in your ticket. Just goes to show you how hard it is to win in the NFL, and especially as a rookie. So let's not – I've heard a lot of people, this is a big proven year for Joe Burrow. Well, frankly, this is going to be a hard year to judge anybody, just because there are going to be a lot of people that don't come into camp in the same shape because they've been sitting eating those extra Krispy Kreme at their house. Right, it does sound really good right now. Anything sounds good. But yeah, and you know what I'm saying though. We don't know. We don't even know if we're officially going to play the season. We expect it, but there's going to be so many different things happening. 2020 is going to be a hard year to judge based on the results at hand.
But it wasn't too long ago, and I talked about this today on Talk Football, that quarterbacks used to come in and set for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
it was the norm. It's like a freshman years ago would never play or never start at Alabama.
Nobody used to be like Joe Flacco and call themselves a starter, right? I mean, just come in and say I'm not ready to go.
It's interesting just because now everybody expects the guy that gets drafted high to not high, like, you know.
Some of them do.
I know. Well, that's what I had to make this very clear where I'm going. But
Snoop Dogg's son did go to USC, I think.
Yes. But, you know, these quarterbacks that are taking early in the first round, I'll put it that way instead of the other word.
Yeah, they're ready to get on the grass and play ball, right? So, no. Okay.
Here we
Continue.
I don't know if I can. But
a little hazy pick. He could have gone later. Continue.
All
right, now we're done. We're done.
Here we go.
Now we're done.
All right.
Now we're done. Get them all out of the system.
We gotta, you know, we're going to roll along. But, but, you know, I talked about today, I asked Coach, you know, what does Josh Rosen still deserve a shot to go somewhere and try to be a starting quarterback? And remember, this is a lot, and I bring this up because I'm not a Josh Rosen fan. I don't believe that he's going to be very good from what I saw.
There's a couple Canadian football teams.
That's true. That is true.
Ja'Cory Harris.
But a guy like that, let's use this as an example. Now, and a reason, you know, always talking baseball here, if you bring a minor leaguer up, we've seen teams do this, and it ruins them. Because they, you know, if they're hardly ever, first off, you're not going to draft an 18-year-old kid and put him in the big leagues the next day. Sometimes you see after a few months of
maybe
getting
if they're from the Dominican,
well,
because they're 28, but
or 36.
Full beard. He's got his kids, grandkids out there. He's 18, isn't he?
But you know, Josh Rosen was a guy we remembered that was taken, and a lot of people questioned it, but he was thrown into the fire. Not a very good team, not a good situation. A little bit worse than what Dwayne Haskins was thrown into. And we look at those guys and we judge them because that's what we do. We're here to judge these. We're judging you because that's part of our job and all this. And I talk about that. And you know, Coach likes Josh Rosen, but he said that he's a guy that he may be ruined just because of the situations that he's been in, the way he was thrown into the fire, the confidence level. You know, his confidence. There's probably none just about there with the situation he's in. Now Tua was taken in Miami, so Josh Rosen knows he's not going to play regardless. No matter what you look at. That's where we look at these guys. I mean, that's where it's the norm used to be. And I bring this up because everybody talking about Joe Burrow, there's so much pressure on Joe Burrow to turn this team around. They're not going to be they may surprise people, and I'm saying there's a chance they could be a playoff team next year because we never know what in the heck's going to happen with the NFL, like you said. But this is going to take some time. But he's a guy that you can build around the next 10 to 15 years. If he doesn't have a good year next year, let's go back and look at the numbers of a lot of these quarterbacks that are Hall of Famers that can go back to their first year, like you talk about with Peyton Manning. Sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you make splashes like Lamar did last year. What happens if Lamar comes out and lays an egg? What about Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
Made a splash his first year, completely backtracks the next year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, even Andy Reid, think about it. Kansas City, Andy Reid, smart guy, gets a double. He's been consistent. Outside of Bill Belichick, he's had the best record of any coach over the last 20 years, over the last 2 decades. Didn't win the big one until last year. And remember, he had Patrick Mahomes, who is the best player in the NFL right now. You can argue it, but he's the best player in the NFL. I've seen enough games and watched enough of his plays. He's the best player. The difference.
I will interrupt you.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco did say he was the best.
Joe Flacco did say that, so we're in the same agreement, right? Josh Rosen probably would too. But I do have to say though that remember, Patrick Mahomes did not start. He did not play his first year. Sat there and learned when Alex Smith had 2 good legs. And sorry, that was wrong. But it's true. But it's true. But it was probably that was a didn't need to take. It's all
where your heart's
didn't need to take that shot. Yeah, we've been ER bros this week, so I didn't need to. Sorry, Alex. But when it comes down to the situation, he didn't even start his first year. So and you saw the talent there. A lot of guys don't get that chance right away to start. It takes them a little while. Tom Brady didn't start. Nobody knew. He was a 6th-round pick. How much, by the way, and we've got Greg Litton that's going to join us coming up here in a few minutes to talk some Major League Baseball as they are trying to – Trevor Plouffe and other people have weighed in like they're ready to go.
Plouffe,
baby, making it happen. Be the most hated person in baseball world if he does not. If he didn't, he just said that we're pretty much ready with the possibility of a 100-game season, getting things rolling coming up here and going right into it. When people like Scott Boras is like, no, unless you get paid all, don't take anything. Well, Scott, get out of here. You make enough. $1 billion in contract during the winter meetings. How much do you think, and we'll leave on this note, how much do you think Bill Belichick is sending to EA Sports to put Tom Brady on the cover of Madden? And we'll leave it there for you guys to decide. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Live TV.
If you are a collector, investor, or just an avid sports fan, then listen up. Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles in Gulf Breeze has one of the largest sports memorabilia collections in the area, with new inventory arriving weekly. If Hot Wheels is your thing, they have that too, with old, new, and special edition models to choose from. At Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles, you can buy, sell, or trade. Located on Highway 98 in Gulf Breeze, Coins, sports cards, and racing collectibles is the place to go to collect either for fun or to invest for profits.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
Welcome to Bow!
Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Looking for future leaders we can believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Florida. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It includes learning to listen, accepting responsibility, being a good role model, and it's about respect. The result, it transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Drive. This song is not on the doctor's list of songs. Just getting the blood pressure and getting it rolling too much.
My B-dog.
Too many maracas going on here. By the way, randomly, because like I said, when you're laid up in bed for a couple days, you have too much time to look at things. Haven't we all for like 2 months, right, without sports fans? But Despacito, the song, which is like the only song that I can speak barely Spanish. I get some of it. But with the name Brilliante, that's sort of a disgrace. But at the same time, it has 6.7 billion views. There's almost more views of Despacito than there is of actual humans on this planet. This is it, yeah. Not one word of it breaking out is English, but you still can jam like you know the words. It's like the only song. Well, this is the English version and ruined all of what I just said.
Hold on,
this one's the other one.
This is the remix. This is the remix. Let me get you the real one.
This is not.
Here's the original one.
This is gonna be Greg Litton's. Yeah, I think it's like Luis Fonsi or something.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is like 7 billion views on it though. This is a good like down at the Blue Angels week drink kind of. Like that's what I'm saying. But you feel like you know.
I know what he's saying.
You do? Exactly.
I feel like it.
Daddy Yankee then breaks on. I think we probably need to, in case we get FCC warning. Look, 6.7 views. They're on top of their game.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't need this, so we'll cut it off before the 30-second roll. Let's get back to the big game. You were going to break down. We got off Eintracht Frankfurt versus Wolfsburg, but
yeah, it was.
It's Saturday, 8:30.
Yeah,
Bundesliga.
So here's the thing: when you look at
this is going to be a load of garbage.
Frankfurt,
so let's just immediately cut this.
Frankfurt, they love to attack. Okay, they love to spread it out, spread the field.
Very generic here.
They
so
love
far.
to take the ball. They love to kick it down the field.
Okay, over the top generic. Yeah.
I'm telling you, sometimes what they're going to surprise you with their defensive matchups because what they're going to do is they're going to look at the guy across from them and they're going to pass in between there. They're going to shoot the gaps.
There's going to be moments where you're going to see them get into a corner.
Yes.
There are going to be moments where
they will not be backed into a corner, though.
There are going to be even times where the game goes into extra time, and they still find a way to be on the field. I mean, this is a team that.
True.
But no, look at Joe's Bayern Munich team right there getting it done.
Yeah, my
number one.
Whatever my team is.
Probably got Greg Litton giving us a call. 850-623-1330 is the number. Caller, who's this?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
No English.
Who is this?
No English. Usted solo que llama, papá.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Look at that right here. That's see now that I didn't have any clue what you said, but you understood exactly what was going on in the song.
That's it.
That was it. That was it right there.
Was that Daddy Yankee? Was that
might have been their agent? They call him like that was
true.
A warning. That was a warning. We have 6.7 billion views. We're just trying to help you get to the 7 billion mark.
There you go.
There's a possibility on the show that we could have added three views of somebody going now to there. So we're helping gear this up. That's what we got. That's what we do. We got you through. We're good. We're good for 3. We're in 4 states. So let's go one per state. We got 4 views. We got 4. Looking right now at some of the things going on with Major League Baseball, as we said, they're in talks right now. This doesn't mean it's going to happen, but Trevor Plouffe, I guess, more than likely has said that we're on track.
He said now the tweet was, now you know how accurate Twitter is.
That
obviously.
Was Trevor Plouffe that just called these, right?
It's true. He's trying to hide his identity now. But the tweet was simply that from the multiple sources he had heard from that, of course, July 1st will have opening day, and then June 10th, people will be back, and they'll be playing in the home ballparks.
He's not the one that has to list my sources because
I agree.
He actually does have sources. He played for like 7 Major League Baseball clubs. So why isn't he actually?
Isn't he on a show? Doesn't he have a
Big Daddy Plouffe? I told you that.
It's just not. I'm not searching that, by the way. I
Okay,
can't imagine what I'm going to get.
But
why he was assigned to the Iron Pigs last year? Oh, that's why he gave it up.
Wait,
Poor
maybe
guy.
he's a trash panda with Jay Bell here locally. Maybe that's. He was not on the list.
Here we go. Here's Greg.
He was not the list. He was not on the list of Trevors, by the way.
We'll get some real Major League Baseball.
There we are. By the way, Greg, we did. I've had too much time the last couple days, and I Googled top search names, and you were on there next to Greg Conti. So I guess maybe the mix. I know that you have nothing to do with them, but the Gregs, you were behind a couple other Gregs of all time, but you guys both made the list of Google searches. Okay.
How many pages did you have to swipe down to get to me?
No, it wasn't. It was multiple pages, but that wasn't the point here. It was. Hey, Nick Saban got beat out by Nicki Minaj, so I don't know. So,
yikes.
But and Nick Cannon beat him out too. He beat out Nick Fury though. But to get to baseball news, Greg, it looks like we have people tweeting out now. Trevor Plouffe, he played. He was solid, but he tweeted out a little while ago that there's the possibility of he's hearing sources that baseball is on track to come out. And personally, Greg, he's one of these kind of guys that, to me, you're going to be the most hated person online for doing that if you have no sources and there's no reason to do that. So I don't understand what his gain would be to put that out there. But he also used the my sources, which sort of frees you. I did that as well when I actually did have sources when Bob Stoops was going to be the next coach at Florida State. So I put it, and then I was easy to backtrack and be like, well, it was those people. It wasn't me. I mean, I wasn't there. So, but do you believe we're going to have baseball and we can figure this out? Because it seems like more and more Scott Borises are telling us we're not.
Well, I think somebody needs to just slap Boris upside the head. I can't stand him to begin with. He's always been a a black mark on agents in my book. I don't care for them. As soon as anybody, top draft sign with them, first thing they do is threaten to sit out and all this. And so he doesn't sit well with me to begin with. But, I saw yesterday, I think it was, who was it, Scherzer or somebody, one of the big pitchers came out and said there's no reason to be talking anymore with the owners because of the new proposal the owners have come out with, slashing payroll or salaries even more. So I don't know. That could just be a bargaining ploy. Our union has always been very well educated and prepared, and they do a great job of keeping all the players informed, which is one of the most important things they can do, and keeping the players together. So that may just be, their job is to get the players as much money as possible. But I sure hope they do. I think there's plenty of time to do it. I think they should do everything within their power to pull this off, and so I'm still hopeful.
And I hope so as well, Greg, because if you talk about athletes in sports, baseball is one of those that there's been a lot of talks of the times changing, where the movement of kids today want to see up-tempo kind of things. That's why UFC fighting, you throw out 15 or 16 different fights right there, the prelims, and people get into it. But I'm still a baseball fan. JP and I mean, we know college football's king in this area, as you do, but we're all baseball fans. You got to play at the highest level. We got to be on a college field. His more successful, but I think though overall,
you still hold a record.
Yeah, I have a record. I'm not proud of it, but Greg, we need to understand though that if they don't get this season in after everything that's happened with over the last couple months with the coronavirus, and then the governments and all the state representatives, all the people within the say we actually can play baseball at your stadiums, maybe without fans at first, but we can make this happen, and the players at that point still say no because they want more money, it would ruin. I don't see people talk about not watching the NFL because of Kaepernick, and I understand their point, but if this happened, baseball would never be able to recover. In my opinion, never be able to recover.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I would agree that it will definitely be hurt. Baseball is a very resilient American pastime, and I think it will come back. But, I have to, just voice what I can from the outside, that I think both sides, the owners and the players, need to sit down, get in a room, shut up, swallow their prides, both sides, and make this happen. But having been on the player side, I have to tell you, Chad, and anybody listening, if you don't, and I question the intelligence of some of these owners, because when we were as players, and I was part of a lockout, 2 lockouts, one that canceled the World Series and the rest of the season, and it was nothing on the player side. A lot of people were ignorant about it. We weren't asking for anything. The owners were asking us to give all these concessions, and telling us they're losing money. And we were like, well, listen, it doesn't do us any good to run the game into the ground. Open your books up, show us, and we'll work with you if you're truly losing money.
Yeah.
Of course, they wouldn't do that. And just like in this case here, I'm I have to kind of reserve a little bit and not jump on the players too much, because I've seen the owners do some stupid stuff, and it wouldn't surprise me at all for them to try and use this situation and try and, just hammer the players and see if they can get them to, take even less, even though, like I said, they need to come together, figure it out, and make this happen. But so I'm kind of, I can kind of see it on both sides. I see some of the players, like we talked about, what's his name down in Tampa, being an idiot, Snell or whatever. But the majority of them have to wise up and say, it will recover, but they have to understand that they're going to lose a lot of fans if they don't make it happen.
And Greg, I fully understand if it was, let's cut the season in half, 82 games, based on that with fans in the stands and everything else, that the players are like, hey, you know what, you're still making your money. You're going to get this back. You can make that money back on TV deals. But remember, the owners on top of just the half pay cut, because they're not saying we don't want to, they're pretty much saying if Mike Trout made $36 million, if you're playing 81 or 82 games, you're going to make $18 million because you're playing half those games. And I know they were like, well, we were ready to go, and they want that money. But on top of it, they're just cutting their half, paychecks in half because of the games, where the owners are going to take a huge cut. If there's no fans in the stands, they're going to lose a ton of cash with baseball revenue, except the Marlins. Nobody shows up anyway. And then on top of that, there are going to be a lot of sponsors that either don't have the business or don't have the funding to spend a couple $1 million in contracts with some of these root sports or FS1s and some of these leagues that they do it right now. So the owners do have a lot more, to me, at stake than just the, hey, we're going to cut the season in half and we want to pay you. You see where I'm going on this?
Oh, no, I agree completely, Chad. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that, that the players shouldn't take a little less. I just know, having been on the other side, with some of the requests that the owners, have passed and wanted concessions, they whine and cry. But this is a very unique situation. And look, next year will should be back to normal. All these guaranteed billionaire contracts, just make it happen. Come together, sit at the table, stop. Certainly, players, stop running your mouths, about the money, because you're making yourself, I don't care. Oh, poor you. You got a $30 million contract and you're only going to make $7.5 million this year. And you expect anybody to go, oh, woe is you for playing 80 baseball games? Yeah. Are you kidding me? I mean, but so they need to shut up. They need to get in a room and just work it out. Yes, the owners, and I agree, I think the owners are going to lose a lot more than the players. And if the players, they need to bend a little more too. I know they don't want to, and I know the owners will try and abuse it. And I know the players behind closed doors are asking, well, show us losing, and the owners aren't going to do that. You don't keep paying players what they're paying them to lose money. They're making a killing, and the players know that. But on the flip, look, suck it up. It's a screwed up year. Make it happen and move on next year.
Greg, with the latest proposal that we're seeing now of the players, of course, saying 100 games and then the prorated salaries, it seems the prorated salaries is something that's where the disagreement comes here. The players are saying, we talked to Tommy Thrall yesterday, and Tommy's now the voice of the Cincinnati Reds with Marty Brennaman, of course, retiring. But I asked him, and I know that he can't speak on everything, but just asked him, what's the reality that the season's canceled? And he said, listen, I think this thing's going to happen regardless. He said a lot of what you said, that these guys just got to come together, and they've got to come to some kind of agreement here because this has got to happen. But he also mentioned, too, that a lot of these owners have some of it almost seems like a rainy day type fund here. And we understand that, listen, with everything going on right now, there's a lot of differences that, everybody that's come on the show has said, look, sports in general is going to look different this year. It's not going to look like anything we've ever seen. I think that's obvious at this point. But looking at 100 games and the same prorated salaries, do you think that this prorated salary, that these owners are ever going to agree for this, or is it going to be like you said? It's got to be some give and take on both sides.
Well, it should be some give and take on both sides, no doubt about it. And again, it's so hard because none of us really know what the owners are doing, or what their profit margins, what they're making. I know you don't see somebody $240 million or $240 million over 4 or 6 years or whatever and lose money. You're making money, you're making a killing, but at the same time, the players aren't going to know that. So, you got to just do the best you can. And I have confidence. Listen, our union, they're not stupid. It's one of the strongest unions in the world. Ultimately, they understand that running off fans and running the game into the ground and making it look bad does not help in the long run. And they will do what's right in the long run, or at least advise. But, some of these players, at least from what I'm hearing, they may not be of the old school like we were, that, hey, you fight for what you can get. When it comes down to it, this is the best we think we can do. You sign it and play ball. I hope that's what it comes to.
Yeah, 40 million people filing first-time unemployment in this country, and reading in the paper, waking up every day, talking about billionaires fighting with millionaires over contracts is not something, even if they were the nicest people in the world, they just don't want to see it right now, you know? So that's, I hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep it out of the press.
Exactly. We do a great job of keeping things out of the press when we need to, right? So, I mean, that's a but
and when we do, somebody just says my sources. So
that's right. That's all it is. My sources. I used to work with a guy in broadcasting for a network that had a lot of those, and he's not here, but a lot of sources. But overall, when it comes down to Major League Baseball, Greg, when all is said and done, how are we going to look at, has the coronavirus and everything that's happened over the last 2.5 months, has that taken away any of the anger that's going to be in the hearts of people hating the Houston Astros?
Oh, boy, I sure didn't take away mine. That may be one of the best things that could have happened to the Astros, because I really do, though. It's taken the focus off of that. It no doubt about it. Had this season started on time as normal, it would have been a lot worse for them. And, I mean, if you hadn't brought it up, heck, I'd even forgotten about it. I'm sure the players haven't.
You know what was hilarious is they had an over-under. What was the bean total? It was 83 was the over-under bean total. And we joked because Jose Altuve was already beaned, I think it was 4 or 5 times in 4 games in the preseason. So, literally, they only had to have one guy bean per game to double that mark. And now we joked, it said, that's going to be a miracle. This is the easiest bet Vegas has ever given us. And, we joked, we said, it's almost too good to be true. Well, lo and behold, it looks like they're going to have an 82-game season. So it's going to now be right on track. And if somebody took that, I don't think they're getting those 82 games back or the 81 games back either way.
And I question, I really mean this now that you brought it up. I hadn't thought about it. But if you really just look at it, I'll bet you the Astros don't near the payback or retribution that they would have. I just think that it's kind of gotten pushed onto the back shelf. When they get back to playing, it's like, listen, we don't need a bunch of fights and stupid beanballs. And, I would even, if I was I just went brain dead. Not the GM, the commissioner.
Manfred, Rob Manfred.
I'm glad I'm not him, because he's. I think he's ruining the game. But if I was in his position, I'm telling you, I'd have a meeting with the team. Say, listen, put that little pettiness aside. I don't want to see any beanballing against Houston. Next year, spring training, and
let's bring it back
up. Do whatever you want, but this year, just throw that aside and let's just play ball and don't put any black eyes on the game. Let's just, do a good job, put a good product out there. And I think that really would be a big help to baseball, and not have something like that going on all season. I was thinking about these salaries. Minimum salary now in the big leagues is $500,000 and something, $500,000. I can't even imagine, Chad, when I got called up out of the minor leagues to going from making $2,000 a month to making $500,000.
Jeez.
So even whatever the prorated, these guys that are on the minimum salary ranges, they're still going to make a couple, $200,000 or $300,000 this year. And I can tell you, those guys, $200,000 or $300,000 is just everything in the world. So
yeah, you'd definitely be buying drinks. You would definitely be buying drinks if that was.
I was buying drinks on $68,000 salary and thought I was loaded. That may be why I don't have any now.
But, Greg, I wish we could talk all day. It's funny, though. It's also not fun to bean somebody when there's nobody in the stands to give you a standing O for doing it, too, So, but that's another thing. Wait until they're all back to then really boo Jose Altuve. It's more fun that way. But the robots, in Korea make fake faces to boom. Hey, Greg, we have to go to a break, but I've appreciated, as always, we'll continue to talk as baseball hopefully gears up here in the next couple months to come.
My pleasure, guys. Always love being on.
All right, appreciate it. Former Major Leaguer Greg Litton right here in Pensacola, former San Francisco Giant. Yeah, 68,000. A little different than $500,000. It's just the way it is today. Sports Drive coming back for more right here on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
If you're ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts, I'm JP. The NCAA required college football players to study during halftime until 1925. Now that's putting the student back in student athlete. The Houston Rockets did not discover until the 14th game of the 1984-85 NBA season that their home arena rims were set at 9 feet 7 inches. And golf balls were originally made out of dried cow eyeballs. Ugh. Remember that next time you're teeing off on the front nine. That's your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts. I'm JP.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV. You know it's getting rough. This keypad has like 40 buttons on it, but only 3. It's like one of those planes. You go in the cockpit and you look up there. Yeah, they are. Your name's on there. I see it. C, I got C, and you got a JP here. Somebody is 3. That's just the other.
3 shot, yeah.
So, but I looked at them and I saw like 40. I didn't realize. I need to go to bed. This is where it starts kicking in. We're actually already over the other break, so we'll go here in a little while. But, yeah, to the point of baseball, that's the thing is people, even if people might be right, or if you broke it down in a court of law, everybody wants to be like they're watching Law & Order. And you broke down some of these athletes, well, if the owners have made this much money, they still deserve this amount of money, and they should fight. It's a different time we're in right now. 40 million good people, not everybody's good, some people are terrible in there, but 40 million people around this country, good and the bad, are unemployed right now. A lot of people unemployed. A lot of really good business. My brother-in-law's place downtown, Odd Colony, they just opened. It was awesome. Just opened, really cool place for people to go down there, and they had to shut down. They didn't serve food. They're not open still right now. So, I mean, think about that. Like a place that people spent hundreds of thousands. People spent millions of dollars around this area, Pensacola alone, and it just started new businesses and then had to shut down. And we work with them every day. We have 27, 28 people that I work with as clienteles and different people that a lot of them, they didn't advertise and it was okay. I told them, stop, don't. The ones that did, God bless y'all. Thank you so much. It means a ton. With no sports going on, we took a big hit, but I'm not going to complain. We were still essential to show up and do our job. And yesterday, against my own will, I don't have the coronavirus. I'm lucky I got tested. But
Jeff Brantley.
What?
Jeff Brantley.
Jeff Brantley's the guy. That's who it is,
guy.
yeah. Yeah, he had some grease back hair when he was on ESPN. Him and Crook looked like on a sweaty day.
Ooh.
They outdueled me for like guy that looks like,
Sweaty Italian?
One of those sweaty greasers right there. His hair, though, him and Rob Dibble and Barry Melrose. I mean, they look like.
It's true.
Think about that.
Just so people understand, we're talking about the other one.
We just went into something
Tommy
nobody
Thrall.
has any clue.
Yeah,
with our
like,
conversation. Where did John Brantley come into?
But it's the other voice with Tommy Thrall. That's what we were talking about. For some reason it went right over my head. But there you go, Jeff Brantley. By the way, I want to say this because I asked Tommy on the show. I said, okay, I got to get this. And I knew one story that he had told because we both work with Tommy, for Friday Night Football and other things like that. I said, what is the craziest story when you're broadcasting that you have? And he goes, okay. And he told the story, remember, about the flatbed trailer that he had to do a game in Kansas City, whatever the team was. And then he said this one. He goes, I don't know if this one was you or Chad. I'm not sure which one this was with. But he said that there was a table set up, and you were, like, looking to the side. You were, like, pointed away from, like, not away from the field, but, like, even with the field right there, looking basically toward the end zone. That was it. And you were set up there. And then the monitors, you basically had to call the game from the monitors. And he goes, and, the monitors, we both know the monitors aren't always the best, not always trustworthy. But he said that was... Which it wasn't me, because I thought he was talking about the Choctaw game we did, my very first game.
I think he might be talking. I think he's talking about the PHS game we had to do, because we got bumped and we had to go up on the roof. I think, or he's talking about from the end zone we did a game.
No, he was saying that you were set up in the stands, but the table was like
we couldn't see it. Yeah, we couldn't see the side. We only yes, that was me, and we couldn't see. There was a wall, a brick wall. So if they got over if they went like to the 30. We couldn't see the rest, so we had to go by the monitors. We literally couldn't see the field.
Where was that at?
There was PHS on the side there. We were hooked up on the side behind.
PHS has that big roof, though. Unless it changed, because me and Christian, we did, and I think even with Tommy my last couple of years, they have a big roof.
We did this at Pace, and like I said, I'm running out of gas as it is right now. I never say that on air, but I am literally right now. But I remember that there was definitely a game where we had to look at the monitors and they shut off. We did a game one time at Catholic where the windows get so foggy there.
Yes, they do.
And the windows got so, at Greco LeBeau, it got so fogged out. And by the way, whoever was on the window washer was on top of it like 2 seconds. Great guy. I think he worked there. Nice guy. But we were doing, our monitors went out. So literally a whole entire 4 downs of me trying to squeegee little holes and watch it out of like a pocket like this size. And half the plays I was like, it looks like a great pass. And was like, I don't even know. And the thing is, it was on TV too, so people were like, what is this guy even talking about? A lot of pauses during that time. A lot of pauses.
Yeah,
there's been some crazy.
That's the one thing. We
do a whole story of high school football. You and I both have called TV games on high school for about, I did it for 4 years. You did it for about that time.
Yep.
So that's a lot of different stadiums and different things to happen.
Everything has happened.
Oh yeah, everything from it, because I mean you lose internet reception. Remember, a lot of these you have to hook up to the bandwidth because you got 2,000-3,000 kids on their phones and other people at a stadium, and your bandwidth gets shot and you lose everything from their online. It's not like working with these trucks on ESPN. Great teams. We did have the trucks.
Absolutely.
I mean, awesome guys. All the teams we work with. But it's just not.
I mean, like I said, my very first game was Choctaw at Choctaw. That's a long drive already. And Hemi, our producer, of course, he had a plywood table set up with basically two 2x4s. We're just like propped up, and anyway. And then last year, you talk about Crestview and Lincoln. We did that. Me and Christian did that game at Crestview, and right after halftime, it poured for like 2 straight hours, and we thought it was done. We were like, all right, they're going to call the game. There are people trying to leave the stadium, and their cars are flooded in. Like, they can't leave until the water recedes. And then Lincoln comes back out and says, and Lincoln already had a 3-touchdown lead at this point. Lincoln says, no, we're playing this game. We're going to make it official. Because they already had 3-touchdown lead. They were over, Crestview was overmatched. Lo and behold, come out, Crestview, they play. I mean, they're standing in a foot of water, and Crestview comes back and wins the football game.
We did a championship game with Blab TV in the back of an RV, classic RV hookup. It had like 15 TVs while we're at the stadium because there wasn't enough room up there in Crestview. And we went off, and it was a great broadcast from Bill's RV, and it was great. And
Bill,
we got
Bill's
through.
a nice guy.
It's nice, air conditioned. Doug bought us pizzas. It was really nice. We enjoyed it. It's actually a very comfortable way of broadcasting right there. So right above us was the stadium right there. You could hear the. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Introducing Beehive Homes of Gulf Breeze, an all-inclusive facility with incredible amenities and a BS and RN on staff for healthcare management. With the best staff to resident ratio in the Panhandle, a new additional home opening in June with a beautiful and secure nature walk between the residents, and all of the great activities, transportation, and wonderful features makes them stand out above the rest. Beehive Homes of Gulf Breeze on Gulf Breeze Parkway and beehivehomes.com. Call 850-688-9199.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawk Doug Baldwin.
A fake, little lob, wide open, touchdown, Doug Baldwin.
Bigger body than Wilson likes to throw to, big target. Here's Baldwin, smaller target, and he ducks in for the touchdown.
Hi, this is Doug Baldwin, and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
All this music is not condoned here. It's getting the juices flowing too much here. Gonna have to make a list of it. Slow music, some Rod Stewart or something. That even won't get you. He's the man, by the way. Dennis Schroeder posted like the greatest hits thing up there, and I saw that. So I went up there. I'm like, how many classics has Rod Stewart had?
A ton.
Pretty much every classic 80s song. He's one of them. Like, he's awesome. Pretty awesome right there. We don't need to play all. We have like 30 seconds. So I do want to say though, for everybody out there listening, thank you guys for holding down the fort yesterday. Did a great job. We'll be back. Should be back unless I don't like go to a convenience store and buy anything.
Fight the urge.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. No more. They just lost a good paycheck at some of those companies from caffeinated beverages. But no, I'm going to stay safe. Glad to be here with everyone, literally. And thank you guys. For everybody at Blab TV, for JP, I'm Chad Brillante. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll break down some of the games happening from Korean baseball. Hey, how about that? Your NC Dinos. Doing good right there. Getting it done. Joe Flacco, have a great rest of your night as well. We're coming back for more tomorrow. It's a Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV. Your ESPN Pensacola Sports Drive headlines. Well, the MLB-PA, Players Association, trying to seek more games and no pay cuts. Scott Boras telling his clients not to bail out baseball owners. It's not what people want to hear right now, but we get it on both sides. Former Brave, a guy that played in the 1970s and was an all-star, Biff Pocoroba, right there, passing away at the age of 66. The team announced today he joined the Braves in 1975 and was a member of their team for what was 7 years. He played in, well, a major role for the Braves during a time in the first division title since 1969 when he had 275 average, 2 homers, and 22 RBIs in 56 games. Biff will be missed his 10-year career with the Atlanta Braves. Looking at the situation with Mariano Rivera, well, there was never anybody like him, and he is a guy that now is working with kids to find the next Mariano Rivera, if they exist. His camps right now gaining more interest overseas and in the Dominican, where Rivera makes his home. And you want to find a way to, I'd pay good money to fly out there to learn that cutter. That's all I'm going to say.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner,